going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. I mean, what can I say? I honestly don't know what to say. I'm in shock. I'm in awe. I can't believe how we scraped away with that one. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I'm literally recording it right after I saw it. I cannot believe what just happened. Anyway, this is a Chicago Bulls versus Indiana Pacers game reaction. A game that was so ugly at the end of the day. It was one of the ugliest games that we've watched, but that ending is probably going to be in the Chicago Bulls highlight reels, in the NBA's highlight reels for years to come, and especially this season. What an incredible buzzer beater for the Chicago Bulls and DeMar DeRozan. And I'm stunned. I don't know what to say. I can't believe what I just saw, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls game today. We won the game 108-106. As you can see, I'm kind of laughing and stumbling on my own words. I just genuinely don't know what just happened, ladies and gentlemen. I genuinely don't know how to react. My initial reaction, I wish at times I can live stream so you can see my reactions on this, because the reaction would have been priceless. I literally jumped off my bed and I was just screaming, like profusely screaming, and I just can't believe that we won that game, and I can't believe the shot that he took. I can't believe that shot was nothing but net. And ladies and gentlemen, DeMar DeRozan is something else, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, let's be honest, this game was ugly. This game was not a fun watch. And if this buzzer beater didn't go in, out of every game in the world that the Chicago Bulls have played this season, this is not one I would recommend. It was an awful game in any stretch of the words. It was a defensive-minded game, but again, both teams played awful basketball, in my opinion. Far from their best for either side. But to see that buzzer beater, that's almost like a once-in-a-lifetime type of situation, ladies and gentlemen. You don't see buzzer beaters like that every day, and it's a joy to now. It went from being such a boring game to a joy of a game to watch because of that one moment in the game that you always want your team to have. You always love those situations. You love those moments when someone ends up truly just making a really tough shot, a really difficult shot, and a shot to win the game as well. And to see it go in, and the initial reaction watching it live, it's unbelievable. I feel like the fans over at Indiana that did go to support the Chicago Bulls today are so truly lucky and blessed to have watched that game, and I'm just genuinely cannot believe how we won this game. Again, I'm going to try to do my best to do a game reaction, but it's hard to think, ladies and gentlemen, when you're just watching that and watching that happen and watching that be your team that ends up walking away and sending the Indiana Pacers fans, sending the Indiana Pacers players home with heart-shattering moments, ladies and gentlemen. Even the Indiana Pacers Twitter actually posted the pure heartbreak that they were feeling. And again, no disrespect to the Pacers in this moment. Again, I think they actually deserved the win, to be honest. I don't think the Bulls played anywhere near their best. And if it wasn't for that free throw line for the Bulls, I think the Indiana Pacers would have won this game fairly comfortably. But again, you gotta respect the Chicago Bulls for winning these gritty, ugly type games. Again, you're not gonna see every single game with amazing performances. You're not gonna see 130 points every single night like we saw in our last two games against Atlanta. You don't see that every day, and it's very rare that you actually see that 130 points and a strong night from everybody, well balanced. And it was the complete opposite game today, but the Chicago Bulls continue to push, continue to fight through the grit, the determination, the ugliness of the game, and the Indiana Pacers did the same. Full respect to both teams, but the Chicago Bulls walked away with one of the best moments of the game, one of the highlight players of the season, and again, we walked away most importantly with the victory. Let's look at the individual performances today. Let's talk about the positives and the negatives of the game, and again, just take it in. Enjoy moments like this. Like, I'm genuinely cannot believe what we saw. Enjoy these moments. Do not let these moments go for granted. Again, we've seen very few and far between a shot like that for the Chicago Bulls in recent history. So enjoy those moments and take it in. And of everybody, DeMar DeRozan to take that shot from the three-point line is truly unbelievable. Zach LaVine, ladies and gentlemen, had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He was 41% from the field today, 7 from 17. He had a very big fourth quarter. He ended up passing to Kobe White for a three-point shot that was big, and he did get a couple of defensive displays as well. But nevertheless, I can't say this is a great game from Zach LaVine. Overall, I thought he was very sloppy. He had a few turnovers. Obviously, you can't blame the turnover of the wet spot. That's very unfortunate that happened, and that led to a fast break for the Pacers. But outside of that, a few unforced turnovers, a few shot selections that wasn't necessarily great. He ended up missing a lot of easy shots in the paint as well. Things that we're not accustomed to with Zach LaVine. But again, he still contributed in the fourth quarter. He contributed when it mattered the most, and it was a great moment to see for Zach LaVine. But far from his best game. I'm sure we're going to see much more improvements in the next one. Again, he's going to have that mentality of picking it up. I think most players will look at this game and say that they will need to have a better, improved efficiency, I should say, in the game. The assist numbers weren't always great for the Chicago Bulls either. We got out-rebounded. We did turn the ball over a fair few times. This game was not great for the Bulls in total, and Zach LaVine, in the end, had a bad game as well. But you got to keep pushing forward. We won the game. We stole one from the Indiana Pacers, and we're just going to move on into the next game, a back-to-back against the Wizards, and hope the momentum of that game is, I guess, better. Another thing that I do want to say before I get into anything further, apparently, look, I'm not going to blame the way that we played on the timing of the game. It was a very early start for the Chicago Bulls in total. But I have heard the commentators say a few times, and I've heard players say this a couple of times as well, that it does affect players when they end up playing in a time that's not accustomed to them. And this is obviously the first time of our season where we had such an early start like this. So it makes a lot of sense, again, for, I guess, I wouldn't say the terrible game, but it does make sense that some shots at the beginning weren't exactly falling compared to the shots at the end. I think both teams kind of came alive in the second half and started making some shots, but in the first half, it was a complete boring game to watch. DeMar DeRozan, 28 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals, and of course, a buzzer beater to seal the deal for the Chicago Bulls as well. I mean, look, put it this way. His shot was, when I first reacted to the shot, again, before the shot went in, I said, what the hell is this guy doing? That's honestly what I truly felt in my heart, because again, we didn't need a three-pointer to win the game. We didn't need, he came off of a screen and was double teamed, I think, and he shot the ball with 0.5 seconds, and it looked like a shot where you threw up a Hail Mary. It was like a fadeaway three-point shot with 2 people on him with 0.5 seconds left, and we didn't need a 3. So the shot selection wasn't great, but great players make great plays. The shot went in, ladies and gentlemen, and we've won the game. We've won 6 in a row because of DeMar DeRozan's buzzer beater. And by hook or by crook, when you make the shot and you end the game for the Chicago Bulls, you deserve a lot of praise. This was far from DeMar DeRozan's best game. He was only 8 from 24 in today's game. That's an astonishing number in a negative way. It was a very poor game from DeMar DeRozan, and yet he still managed to climb his way to a 28-6 night, and he ended up getting the most important shot of the night for the Chicago Bulls. Congratulations to DeMar DeRozan, and he just gave us a memory that I think we're going to continue to carry over in future times. This is going to be a memory that we're going to see down the line. This happened on this day by Instagram and by Facebook and the NBA, and they're going to keep on making that moment for the Chicago Bulls a lifelong thing. It's something we're going to remember forever, in my opinion. It was that good of a buzzer beater. Full respect to DeMar DeRozan for, again, putting himself on the highlight reel and getting us a win. Nikola Vucevic, 14 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists. This is one of the most frustrating games, and I'm actually going to blame everybody else but Nikola Vucevic on this situation, because, again, I understand missing shots is a big deal, and he did miss a lot of shots, especially from the three-point line. He was 2 from 7, but we did not go anywhere near Nikola Vucevic in the second half. He had all of his stats, all of his big numbers in the first half of the game. He had close to a double-double, if not a double-double, in the first half of the game, that we completely neglected him and decided to play a little bit more off of the guards of the Chicago Bulls and didn't really use the big man whatsoever. He's a big threat from the three-point line. He's a big threat in the mid-range and in the post and all of that, and we didn't see it enough in the second half. And maybe that's Vucevic not getting involved, but that also could mean the team kind of neglecting him in a way as well. So I feel very sorry for Nikola Vucevic for a game like this, but nevertheless, it's still not a bad game. Again, 14 and 16 with 4 assists as well. It's not a bad game. The shooting percentages obviously need to boost up from previous games. He had 2 really incredible games against the Atlanta Hawks, and he's had 3 really solid games in a row. This is obviously not his best game, but it's not his worst either. I think it's a game where we can see an improvement on from Nikola Vucevic. Coby White had 24 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Efficiency was borderline amazing from Coby White. 63% from the field, 85% from the three-point line. He was ready at all times. He took contested threes, he took wide open threes, he got to the paint, he got to the foul line. He was really solid for the Chicago Bulls in total today, and we'll have to see what I decide to do in the player of the game in that situation. But Coby White was definitely, I would say, one of the best players on the team, if not the best player on the team today. His scoring was well needed. Again, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine are always going to be our go-to guys, but you very rarely see both of them struggle the way that they did. DeMar DeRozan had to take up 24 shots to get to 28 points. That's something that's very unheard of in DeMar DeRozan's game. Zach LaVine was 41% from the field, and he took 17 shots to get 17 points. Again, unheard of for Zach LaVine. Vucevic was 37% to get 14 shots. He took 16 points to get 14 shots. Unheard of for Nikola Vucevic. The efficiency was so poor in tonight's game that you saw Coby White with 63% in terms of field goal, 85% from the three-point line, 4 from 5 from the free throw line, and just a really good scoring night with a couple of good assists as well, 3 steals along with it. That's an incredible and very well-needed game. There were 2 players, in my opinion, that really gave us some good minutes in this game, and Coby White was one of them. So congratulations to him on a very good night. And again, 2 games in a row where he's had some great games for the Chicago Bulls. Let's see what he can do in the next one. It's all about the next game mentality, and if he can keep it up for the next game, we've got a really good player on our hands finding his way in this team. Javonte Green had 2 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. It's an okay night for Javonte Green. Again, he did get bullied a lot in the paint. He ended up guarding players like Sabonis and Turner all the way to Caris LeVert. He was mixing and matching. He got into foul. He got a couple of fouls as well. It's just it's a typical night for Javonte Green. He provides the energy, he provides the defense, he tries to fly to the rim as much as possible. Didn't get the foul calls as you'd normally expect. I believe both of his shots actually came from the free throw line. He only took 3 shots in the game. It's something that he can improve on as well. This is definitely not his best game compared to his recent games, but it's not his worst either, and he does provide a lot on the defensive end that I think is not really shown for the Chicago Bulls. Moving into the bench, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with Ayo Dosunmu that had 3 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists with 1 block. This is not Ayo Dosunmu's best game as well. And again, I thought the bench was actually not too bad in total, but nevertheless, Ayo was definitely someone that did not provide much in terms of the scoring. Again, he only took 1 shot. That's not something you're known for Ayo. And defensively, he was fine as normal. He's always going to be a good defender. He got to the foul line. He actually made 3 out of 4 free throw shots, which is one of the weaknesses in his game. He does miss a lot of free throws, but nevertheless, you can look at this game for the Chicago Bulls. You look at his game at Ayo, and again, when he has bad games like this, I am genuinely not worried about the next game because he has such a great attitude, he has such a great mentality and a good passion for the game that when he has bad games, I'm not worried about him going into a slump. I'm not worried about having 2 or 3 or 4 bad games in a row because I know he'll pick things up very quickly because that's the type of player that he is. So I'm definitely not worried about Ayo Dosunmu. Matt Thomas had 8 points and 2 rebounds in today's game. He's someone that brought great minutes for the Chicago Bulls, especially in the second quarter, I believe. And that's exactly, we needed that. We needed someone to just give us a boost in scoring and from the 3-point line. And that's exactly what he did for the Chicago Bulls, making 2 really important threes in a time that we needed them, and he was doing great things for the Chicago Bulls as well. well. It's a shame that he couldn't get it going when he did return in the late third and fourth, and that's something that, again, if we did have this game, probably wouldn't have been as close. But Matt Thomas, in my opinion, had some really big minutes for the team. There's a reason why he played 20 minutes tonight, and that's because he was big and we needed some scoring off of the bench, and he provided that for us. So I'm very happy with his performance. Derrick Jones Jr. had 7 points and 2 rebounds. Not the best game for Derrick Jones Jr. either, but he did have a great third quarter, and that's where the damage came from. 3-point shots, alley-oops. He does need to learn how to not foul. Again, when he's in the post or he's guarding bigger players, he results in fouling very easily. That's something that he does need to work on, but again, it's an okay game from Derrick Jones Jr. Tyler Cook had a 5-5 night, 5 points, 5 rebounds with 2 steals. Again, it's a pretty decent game for Tyler Cook as well. I really am starting to trust him as the backup center if we end up bringing back Tony Bradley. If we go with Tyler Cook as the big man, because again, he's built physically to play that position. He's someone that can work on his defense as well, and he does love to attack the rim with full aggression. That's what his game is, and that's obviously something that we love to use. And let's see if we can see Tyler Cook continue that momentum in the future. He's got a good set of games now, ladies and gentlemen, and I think we're slowly beginning to trust what he can do. The must improve for me, I am going to pick Zach LaVine. Again, I just think for the level of play that Zach LaVine brings, we expect a lot more out of him. Of course, if this was a game that Ayo Dosunmu had, or a game that maybe even Kobe White had, we probably wouldn't be talking about it as a must-improve moment, because, again, we don't expect as much from those players as we do from Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine's one of our best players, if not our best player. Zach LaVine's an all-star, and fair to say, Zach LaVine had a poor night for the Chicago Bulls. So I do expect a must-improve moment from him. I think he could do a lot better in terms of scoring and in terms of finding his way and making some of the easier shots that he missed today. Outside of that, again, there's not too much I can say. It's not a bad game from Zach LaVine, like a terrible game, but it's definitely one of his worst games of the season, and it's definitely something I expect much more from out of him. And again, he's another player that I'm not concerned about going into a slump, because I know against the Washington Wizards he will have his game face on, because you do always know that players want to bounce back when they don't perform well. The player of the game. Now look, my brain is telling me Kobe White. My brain is telling me Kobe White, and if this was any other game, if we walked away with a loss in today's game, or if we walked away with a comfortable win, it's going to be Kobe White. But that buzzer beater, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, how many times are you going to end up getting a buzzer beater like that for your team, walking away with the win? And in a truly sensational fashion like that. How could I not give the player of the game to DeMar DeRozan after that? I honestly don't. I don't see how I can't give it to him. I know he was bad. I know he had a bad game. And I think if you asked him, he would admit that he had a bad game. But ladies and gentlemen, how could you not give it to DeMar DeRozan? Again, I'm going with my heart over my brain. As you know, when you're in the heat of the moment, when you're watching the game, you're fully invested. You have your heart ready for either a crazy moment or full heartbreak. That's the moment that we were waiting for as Bulls fans, whether we lost the game because we had the lead the whole time. If we lost, it's heartbreaking. And if we win, it's pure joy and pure emotion. I'm thinking with my heart over my brain. I'm an emotional person when it comes to sports, and that was an emotional moment for me. And I thank DeMar DeRozan for bringing me that joy, and he's my player of the game. I can't go against it, ladies and gentlemen. And the win streak extends to 6 by hook or by crook, through blowouts, through dominating victories, through gritty, ugly games like this. We managed to find another win in this team, and it's 23-10, ladies and gentlemen. A great performance, to be fair, by the Indiana Pacers in terms of keeping up and not going away for them. And again, we will have another game against them in February, so it will be a game where I think there's going to be a lot of momentum, a lot of heat, and a lot of, I guess, physical play. They're going to come out remembering this, because it is a heartbreaking moment, and I'm sure the Pacers won't let the Bulls forget about that. So let's see what happens down the line in February, but the Chicago Bulls walked away with a big victory here. Our next game is a back-to-back against the Washington Wizards. Again, we did play this game. We looked really unenergetic, unmotivated to play this game, but we did win the game. I hope things change against the Washington Wizards. I don't want to see another Bulls performance with a lack of energy and I guess a lack of will to play the game. I really feel like that was the case for this game specifically. We didn't exactly come out with full momentum, ready to play, ready to do things the easy way or the hard way. I think I saw that with some of the rebounds that we ended up missing in the fourth quarter. It looked like we had no energy in the game. But I hope that against the Washington Wizards, it will be at a normal time, I guess, for the Chicago Bulls. It'll be a time that they're used to. Hopefully that momentum, hopefully that energy, hopefully the motivation will carry over and will be much better, much improved against the Washington Wizards. And let's see how far we can get this win streak going. 6 in a row now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can bump it up to 7. The Wizards did get Bradley Beal back recently, so they're going to have their best player ready to play, so the Bulls won't have an easy game on their hands for the next one as well. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Enjoy moments like this, ladies and gentlemen. Never ever take it for granted. Just be very grateful and be very happy that the Bulls ended the new year with the first seed in the Eastern Conference. Fun fact, technically for me, the Bulls ended on the 2nd seed because my New Year's is pretty much already happened. So it is 2022 for me right now. Crazy time that I'm living in, ladies and gentlemen. A whole different year. But also, just be very grateful that that shot went in. I mean, that's all I can say. Enjoy moments like this. You don't get them very often. I'll see you in the next game reaction against the Washington Wizards. Take care and peace.